I always say, I mean, my journey was pretty long to a natural pregnancy, but at the time, this is like 15 years ago, there was no fertility books. Their Instagram wasn't invented, no fertility podcast. And the only reason I got to where I was going, because I was willing to listen to all the kind of health and wellness popular podcasts at the time, but most of them were run by men. And you'd be lucky if you got an episode about fertility. But I mean, that was just my journey, and it took me so long to piece it all together. But now I know it sounds really harsh, but I'm kind of like, there's no excuse. Like, there's no excuse not to have this information and take advantage of it, other than a choice you make of not believing in yourself. Maybe you have that I don't believe in that science kind of thing. I don't know why we're still having, a majority of my clients doing 5 rounds of IVF within 3 years and just, getting sciatica and getting, liver issues and getting all this stuff when the information is so readily available. Do you think that there's still an aspect of holding on to those old beliefs or white coat syndrome? Or like, what do
Like
you think it
the,
is?
I think it's like, getting down to the core issues, like, deep down inside our culture, we're just culturized to like want things to happen fast and easy. And it's, often we don't have the actual discipline to put in all the work that it's going to take and to make all the changes that we need to make. And like, let's just pay 20 grand or 40 grand or whatever it's going to cost, and bang, hopefully maybe we'll get a baby. Um, so I think it's hard. And then I
It
think
sounds
there
so
is,
crazy, doesn't it?
yeah, and then I also think that it also is overwhelming because the gift of all the social media is that there is so much more information. Women are so educated, but then there's all this conflicting information. So
Right.
then it's like overwhelm, and I just can't deal with it because it's too many choices and too many options. So I'm just going to go do IVF and just at least I know the doctor will tell me do, and I'll follow them, right? So
Mhm.
it really is sort of, you really do need someone to guide you, you know. You really need a mentor or a coach or whatever you want to call it. Um,
And it's still this the patriarchy medical system in a way where it's like the doctor at the end of the day knows more than anybody else. They
mhm.
and this is researched and proven. So even though the percentage is actually sound quite ridiculous for something you're signing up for and spending a lot of money for, it's because in the system they know they're the experts, these are the people, so we kind of just turn it over, right? There's this like miracle, like, but the doctor from Princeton is going to figure it out for me, or like the Yale educated reproductive endocrinologist is going to sort it out for me. And what that is actually what's shifting, right? Where like, no, actually, really, like a dope ass naturopathic doctor team or somebody who wasn't even in med school, but like fought for it for herself and figured out and unlocked things. Those are actually the people where you're going to probably get a lot more intel than just the people that are kind of doing that kind of systematic medicine, right? This whole thing is desperate for personalization. That's the fertility journey needs to be personalized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the emotion that's driving it though? Because I did this. I did this at age 29. I went to IVF. So this is like I'm the imposter here, right? Um, and the reason I did it, and I feel it, I did have 5 miscarriages before. I had horrible endometriosis. I had fibroids. I had anemia. I was a vegan. I did all the things. And I was just in such terrible shape at that time. And I had such fear. And I was desperately terrified of never having a baby. And I could visualize that baby and I could see that baby coming, but I didn't trust myself. And I was in my medical residency. So I was like, I didn't even tell Hillary, didn't even know about this. No one knew about this. It was like my husband and I, this was like my secret quest. I'm like, I spoke at a lavender conference, like an international lavender conference. I had to go to the bathroom and inject, like hiding out. It's so embarrassing to tell you this, but I was like so terrified of those drugs but I was so wanting the baby that I did it, because I was like, I have had all these miscarriages. I'm never going to get the baby. I can't hold a baby. I'm wrecked. I'm a bad person. I'm cursed, whatever it is. And I'm just going to have to do the IVF to get the baby. In reality, then we were like, well, we better start trying right away after that baby came. And my daughter is like 13 months younger than my son. So I never needed to do IVF at all. At all. That's like the lesson from my life, is that I was terrified and I ran into it, and it was incongruent with my lifestyle and everything I talk about. And I was scared I was going to get cancer from those drugs. I really was at that time. And I had to hide it, you know. And so I hope that people out there listening can like identify, oh, it's fear. I'm in fear. That's how I was making decisions based on just terrified fear.
Yeah.
And that's why we do it.
Yeah, I think that a lot of us just haven't been taught to stand in our empowerment, right? And stand into our intuition. And it's when you're not there, and you don't have to be fully there, right? We don't have to be like superwoman, but you are easily swayed to do things that that doesn't feel right to you, right? And you just follow that path and you're like, this doesn't feel good, but it's the only way. And it's because we're not taught to be like, hey, stand in your power, even if you are the weirdo, like even if you aren't the expert in the room, but you feel like this is your truth. It's so hard to stand up for yourself. And that's like one of my first things is, before you even come into a coaching package with me, is you have to check your intuition. You have to know that this is 100% the right step for you, and only you can answer that for you.